Hi everyone, I'm here today with a review and demo of the Kokie Cosmetics Powder Contour Palette. It says it's a powder highlight and contour palette, and I think when we all saw Kokie Cosmetics out at Walmart, we all noticed that they had this palette and that it looks a lot like the contour and highlight palettes from like Anastasia Beverly Hills and Kat Von D, and everybody started asking, is it a dupe, is it a dupe? So first of all, I do not have the Anastasia Beverly Hills and I do not have the Kat Von D contour palettes, but I did pick it up and I wanted to try it and see if it's just a good contour highlight palette on its own. So first off, you do get 6 different powders here, and I want to note that I do have tan skin. Not that I've been tanning, but usually in different makeup brands shade ranges, I fall under tan. So I want to go ahead and swatch these first so you can see what they look like, because I don't use all 3. So these are the finger swatches, and I'll do them on my wrist. So that's the first one. The middle banana shade is that one, and then the 3rd shade. Right. So these don't necessarily have names. Let me double check. No, they all just say highlight. So I just swatched them in order. So 1, 2, 3. So that's how I swatch them in here. So first of all, the powder is a bit powdery. I don't find that it's super powdery, but it is powdery, right? It is pretty finely milled. They feel very soft to the touch, and so they feel like really nice quality powders. So now I'm going to go in with the contour powders, and I'll show you what those look like. So this is the first one, the lightest one, the second, and 3rd. So there you go. So as you can see on there, the first one, the lightest shade, is pretty light. It is not one that I use, and in fact I'm like, the only way I could probably get use out of that would be to use it as an eyeshadow. The second one I can sometimes use. I have not been using it this summer because I've gotten a little bit more color in my face, so I actually go in and use the 3rd darkest shade. So I want to show you how I use it. So today I'm using the Sonia Kashuk brush. This was from like a limited edition set, but as you can tell, this one has, it's a flat kind of sculpting brush. So I'm just dipping into the dark shade, and I'm going to go in and carve a contour on my face. And that is the way that is what it looks. So this darker shade is a more cool tone color, and actually I think it's the coolest of all 3 powders, which is not always what I want. So sometimes when I want something a little bit warmer, I go in for the middle shade, but like I said, this one just works on my skin tone right now. So let me go ahead and put it on my other cheek. So it applies very nicely. It does build up a little bit. But it also blends beautifully. And that's I think the key for me, because I don't like a really harsh contour despite the fact that I'm using this brush. And I have really been enjoying the way it blends. I have used it with fluffier brushes, and if you use a fluffier brush, it'll obviously give you not as harsh of a contour, but it'll still work. It'll still apply nicely and blend nicely. I've really been enjoying it. Now in terms of the highlighters, these are matte highlights. So if you're not into matte highlights, then these are not for you. I did try the middle shade, that kind of banana color, as a setting powder, and I found that it was a bit too cakey for me. But that part of the reason for that is that the concealers that I'm using right now don't need to be set. So I'm going to go in here and use it as a highlight just at the top of my cheeks. And it does kind of work. It's a really subtle, it would be a really subtle highlight. Right? And in fact, for most people, I think this is just not going to be enough. I think most people would use that banana powder to set their under eye. And I think it's nice. It's a nice setting powder, but I have not been using it, so I have to be honest about that. That I used it for like about a week, and what I found was that it was the combination with the concealers I was using was just not a good one. But it does matter how much you apply. If you go in with a heavy hand, it'll definitely kind of cake up that area a little bit more. Whereas if you go with a lighter hand, you'll just sprinkle a dusting of powder in the under eye, and I think that I found that works better. But again, this is just my experience with. I've been using the MAC Pro Longwear and the ColourPop concealer, no filter concealer. These concealers I've actually been enjoying very much without setting, because it tends to accentuate my fine lines more when I set. And so I've recently just been playing with no setting. So overall, is it worth it? It's not my favorite contour palette, and what I've been finding is that actually contour palettes are just not the best deal for me personally, because they always need to put in a range of contours on there, and not all of them are going to work for you, right? Maybe if you're lucky, 2 will work for you. Same with the highlights, not all of them will work for you. So I sometimes find that it's better to find just a good contour and highlight and have them as singles. So I think from now on, I don't know that I would be buying more palettes, at least not if they are supposed to be meant for kind of one universal for every palette for everybody. This is a good one. I think if you've been wanting to try it and have the money to spend, you will not feel bad spending your money on this. You'll not be wasting your money. On the other hand, if you've got plenty of other contour powders, I don't think this is necessarily a must-have. Run out the door and get it. So that is my 2 cents on the Kokie Cosmetics contour palette. So overall, I'm enjoying it. I'll continue to enjoy it, and I do not regret having purchased it. That is it for me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.